Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Every Man Has a Story. I've got a special guest here today. His name is Rich, and Rich is married to a lovely Filipina. Also, he has a home in the Philippines and has had a lot of experience dating Filipinas, being in the Philippines, and he's a very successful executive and businessman as well. So I'm really looking forward to hearing all about Rich's story. So thanks a lot for taking your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the channel.
Yeah. So how's the weather in Chicago? Is it really hot?
No, not really. It's about in the mid 70s, low 80s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I lived most of my life in Texas, so all my buddies and friends down in Texas are telling me how hot it is down there. And of course, you got that heat wave going on the East Coast and West Coast here, so Chicago's pretty calm compared to the rest of the country.
Yeah, I lived out in Utah for 15 years, so I know what it's like at 100-degree heat every day for like 4 or 5 months, you know, but the thing is that dry heat, so at least you don't have the humidity to deal with.
Isn't that the truth? I've lived
Yeah.
in Texas where there's been 105-degree days, 90 days in a row, and, you know, droughts and everything else. But, yeah, I love Texas. I love living down there. But now I'm retired, so I'm...
Can you move your phone a little bit? All I've got is your head.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. Yeah. You know, Texas is like the hot new place now. Like Joe Rogan just moved there from California, and a lot of people are giving up on other states and moving to Texas. It's really a popular place now.
Absolutely. Even when I lived there, everybody was moving in from California, and they were just ecstatic at what kind of home they could get. You know, in Dallas, I lived in Dallas and Houston, and both places they were just everybody in my neighborhood seemed to be from California. And they're just so happy. Yeah, they're like, wow, I can get 3 times the home here and for a lot more space. So
yeah, people in California that had moved like in the San Francisco area or Silicon Valley, they ended up moving to Utah where I used to live, you know, were selling their 2-bedroom Cracker Jack house that was built in the 1960s, you know, for $1 million and coming to Utah and building these mansions right with a view of the mountains and everything for, you know, like $500,000. So yeah, I know what you mean. So are you retired now? Or are you still working?
Oh, I'm retired. I'm 61. My wife here is 55, and I do some I do a lot of things to keep me busy, to try to keep.
When you log into your trading account, are there red?
Keep my hobbies going, but yeah, I'm retired. That's why we have the the home in Cagayan de Oro in the Philippines. And
now tell me about that. Did you build it, or just buy it, and how long have you had that home?
Well, we actually have 3 lots now. My wife is the Filipina. She's the Filipina queen of buying land over there. Yeah, hey. We have the home that we rent because we're building a home on one of our lots, and then we have another family home that we go out to in the country, which is outside of CDO, about 40 kilometers that we can go to on the weekends. But we initially we bought a lot in a subdivision. I thought it was too small, so she picked out another lot out in the country, about 10 minutes outside the big mall up there in Upper Carmen. And then we decided that one's not really going to work out, so we bought another lot at a subdivision that's going to be ready in January of next year. Nice. So we're just going to wait and build. We bought a lot more land inside the subdivision, and we're looking forward to building a new house there.
And so, what are you going to do with your house in Chicago?
I already sold my house in Texas. And this down here where I'm at is an office living room that we built in my brother-in-law's house. My brother-in-law's sitting over here in the corner. He's married to my wife's twin sister, so my wife is a twin. Yeah,
that is interesting.
So I have 2 of these running around, and most people outside of Pat and I can't tell the difference between the 2. They get mixed up all the time. There's some funny stories about that. when Elma was at Emma's wedding, they kept asking her why she kept changing her clothes. And she's like, well, I'm Emma. I'm not Elma. Or
Wow.
vice versa. But anyway, yeah, so I'm domiciled out of South Dakota because I actually travel quite a bit. I have a brother that I stay with a lot down in Oklahoma City. When I'm here in the USA, I just stay with my relatives. So I stay with the brother-in-law here for a little bit, and I've got my 3 sons. I put them all through college. They all went to different colleges, different areas, and where did they end up at? Back in Southern Illinois. So I go back to Southern Illinois to visit them, and then I've got other friends that I stay with in Texas, and so I mainly stay in Texas and Oklahoma, and then up here for a little bit. But the majority of the year now we're in the Philippines. I'm just having a heck of a time getting back there because of the travel protocols that have been going on. Taiwan.
Have you been vaccinated? Have you been vaccinated yet?
Oh, yes. I got vaccinated back in March. I'm way past the 14 days. That doesn't matter though. If you try to travel over there, you know how that goes. They want you to go through the 10-day quarantine. They're fighting right now between Governor Garcia and President Duterte. Keep arguing with one another on whether it's going to be 7 days or 10 days, and she would like to have it be 3 days or nothing. And you can kind of see both sides of the story. I'm just going to follow the rules. When I get there on July 19th, we leave July 19th to go back again. And when I get there, I'll stay I'm going to book 10 days for the quarantine. And if I get to stay less, then great. But my flight has been canceled 7 times since April. And as you know, you can't travel by yourself, even if you're Balikbayan. You have to have your wife with you to travel with.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So, yeah. Even though you're vaccinated, I even had a visa from the Chicago consulate that said that I could travel without my wife. I got over to the Philippines. I showed all my visas, got through all the checkpoints, and when I got to the last immigration official, they said, oh, no, we don't have such a visa. So I got it right here. And I did it twice because my son's wedding made it expire. I had to do it again. It takes 3 weeks to get one. It's a lot of pain. They turned me around and deported me. Sent me back.
You're kidding me.
They said,
wow.
No, they said, you can't travel without your wife. That's the rules. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll fly her up from CDO. She'll be here in 4 hours. So I flew her up. She met me in the Manila airport. We were together, and I said, now we're together. I'm traveling with her. Can I come in the country? They said, nope, you're on the next flight out. So we left together at 11 o'clock that night, and I flew back to Chicago.
That kind of stuff drives me crazy. I mean,
it does.
I love this country. I've been here for a year and a half, but the bureaucracy and the petty, government official rules like that just drive me crazy.
It's nuts, especially when you can show them that, hey, this whole thing is because of COVID. I'm fully vaccinated with Pfizer. She's fully vaccinated with Pfizer. The whole reason for doing all this is to get everybody vaccinated. 90% of the people at that airport were just wonderful to me. Just fantastic. They even put security guards on me and made me sit in my chair for 24 hours waiting for the next flight. I couldn't leave the snack bar. They made me sit right there. And then I had to pay for security. Yeah, I had to pay for security to watch me. And we got to be really good friends, the security guard and I, and then they had 2 other shifts. So I kept buying security guards lunches, and after a while, they're bringing their wives over to my little snack bar, and we're eating lunch together. They all took me down to the plane to get on Korean Air. My wife was with me. She's wondering why I have all these friends. I said, well, these are my security guards. And when I got there, they told me, oh, by the way, you have to pay these people. So I had to pay them for watching me. And then when I got to Korea, they gave my passport to Koreans, and they made me sit in the chair for 5 hours. So,
and of course you wasted all this money on flights. That's
absolutely. Because I had to pay $500. Yeah, I had to pay $500 to change her flight. I had to pay $130 to get her from CDO to Manila, and then my $1,800 flight was wasted. So now I bought all new tickets. We're ready to go. We're going to leave July 19th. We should be in Cebu on July 21st.
Well, what
You
about
just
all
roll
these
with
other
the flow.
well, you're a stoic is what you are, my friend. You're one of those guys that, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control your reaction to it. And that's the kind of guy you are. It
Absolutely.
seems like that, you know. So what about all these other flights that got canceled? Did you get your money back from those?
Yeah, I got my money back from all of them.
Oh,
What
that's good.
kept happening is I buy the ticket. If you fly Korean Airlines will move you out to the next flight. They did that 7 times for me last year, and I didn't have to pay anything. Finally, they said, it's been almost a year. We need to just refund your money. So they refunded my money. Then I went ahead and booked up with EVA Airlines, and each time they make a change, they make you cancel and rebuy at the new price. Sometimes it
Oh,
was a lot higher. Sometimes it was a lot lower. But, when they first do that and they close down Taiwan and everybody's trying to get back that are Filipino offshore workers, the rates go sky high. So a ticket that I paid $1,500 for was looking like anywhere between $2,600 and $4,000 each. And for 2
wow.
people, $8,000 to fly back to the Philippines? No, I'm not doing that. But
Mm.
you just wait a few days, watch the sites, and you can get a better price. And we did. And we're going to give it another shot here.
So when you go back, are you going to stay for good, or do you have a certain amount of time you're going to be there?
No, I'm going to stay for good. I would have already done my SRV or my my KA, the permanent retirement visa. Now it looks like I'm going to do the permanent retirement visa. Go ahead and get my ACR card and get my permanent retirement visa, and I'll stay. I'll be there for good, but I'll come back to the U.S. every year because I've got 3 sons that I get
Yeah.
along with great. We talk all the time. Thank God for video conferencing, and we use Magic Jack in the Philippines. It
Yeah, me
works
too.
fantastic.
I got it.
Yeah, it works great. So I gave them all my phone number for the Philippines. We're going to talk all the time. I got a lot of friends here. Everybody wants me to stay, with them when I'm here. So we'll come back for about 2 months every year and bounce around and then go back to CDO. That's the plan. And I couldn't fly for a while because of the heart condition. The cardiologist told me that not a good idea. That's why it really wasn't a good idea to fly all the way to the Philippines and then turn around and fly back. That was not a good idea, but it happened.
Now, are you concerned about
And,
medical care in the Philippines?
yeah, I've actually done the research. Like I've watched Steve on his Philippine Info channel. I've watched all you guys. I started watching Ricky 6 years ago. I watched Paul when he first started his channel, and Ned.
Yeah.
Even back when Ned was with Michelle, all these guys. So I've been following their channels and kind of doing a little bit of the, searching for the Medicare and other solutions because I've retired from Best Buy. I was a general manager for them, and before that, I was a regional manager for Circuit City, and I was a manager of all appliances for Sears. So I've always had really good insurance, and I thought that I'd be able to continue my insurance over there. Well, no, it's not going to work. So yeah, I am concerned. It's only good for 60 days when you go over there. Yeah, there's 5. One comes in below your heart, and that one had to be replaced also. But they took it from the top to the bottom instead of going sideways. They told me that's called the lifeline. It'll probably last me, that new vein that has been turned into an artery will probably last me longer than my life. It'll be still pumping when I'm gone. So not too worried about it, but you can't tell that to the insurance companies in the Philippines. So they wanted to charge me $5,500 a year for full coverage on everything that covers everything. But there's a trick to that. You got to read the fine print. Wait till you turn 70. That goes to $17,000 a year. But if you have a card, if you get checked into a hospital there, you got to be able to show that you have proof that
you got to
can pay
prove
for
it.
your hospital visit, as you know.
I know. They won't.
Yeah,
They
you
will
gotta
not
prove
treat
it.
you.
So a PhilHealth card, a PhilHealth card would do that.
Yeah, they got
And
to get you in there. They
I
have to
went to
treat you if you've got that. Yeah.
Right. I went to the hospital in 2018 and I talked to them about what if I have to have another bypass. Let's say I have to have a dual. And what would be the worst case scenario? How much would I spend if you guys had to work on my heart? And they said about $10,000. So I thought,
That's cheap. That's cheap,
I can cover
actually.
that. Heck, I'm paying about $9,000 a year here in the U.S. for my insurance. Yeah. once you put the max deductible, which I hit every year, and you put the premiums, yeah, I'm paying about $9,000. I thought, yeah, I'll do that. I'll just self-insure. So,
Well, you know, if you can also the option is going to Thailand too, because they've got excellent hospitals over there, and there is like here in Dumaguete where I live, there's a new hospital called Ace, just like Ace the card, and they're supposed to be really top notch. But I've heard that many guys have just like for hip replacement, heart surgery, whatever, they went over to Thailand, and for what they paid, it would have been paying with their insurance, so they were able to have the surgery done and stay in a nice hotel to recover.
Yep. Well, and you can go to Guam and use your use your Medicare and your insurance. I lived in Hawaii for 2 years. I'm very familiar with Hawaii. I'd have no problem with flying over to Hawaii if I had to have something done. As long as I don't have a heart attack, and I've never had a heart attack. I just have issues with the heart.
So you just said you can use your Medicare in Guam?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's something new to me. I've never heard that. Yeah, obviously,
really?
But I mean, that's good to know.
Yeah, you can. I've been to Guam many times. I don't know that I really want to go to Guam to have something done. I think I just take the extra 4 hours and fly to Honolulu.
Hawaii.
If you want to take the extra 15 more hours, go to LA and have it done. But I'll still keep my Medicare.
Yeah, a lot of doctors and nurses here for sure. So probably if you're just smart about the whole thing and get regular checkups, and any little ache or pain that doesn't seem normal, you go to your doctor and get it checked out. If you did need something else done, you'd have time to to decide where you want to go and what you want to do. Don't launch them all at the same time, Richard. What you want to do is do one a day or one every other day, and then people have a time to watch them. If you put out like 20 videos, all of a sudden they go, oh, well, I don't have time to watch 20 videos. But if you just launch 1 or 2 a day, you'll develop an audience, and people keep checking to say, oh, what did Richard put out today?
Right.
And it'll build fast. I made that same mistake. One of my first interviews was a guy who'd been in prison in the Philippines, and his story was like 5 videos. I posted them all like the same day, and that was a mistake. I should have doled them out over a month or a few weeks at least.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you should do it. It's fun.
I want to help expats. Everybody's always got these questions. How can I make extra money on the side? And it's hard to do when you don't have money. But if you just have a little bit and you know how to make money on the side, my channel is going to be about investing, and I'll probably have some. I've got a bunch of family stories in there about raising kids and all that kind of stuff, and I've got business stories.
You did personally? Wow. Yeah. I worked for a guy in Evansville, Indiana, that owned 4 movie theaters. Really cool guy. Used to ride around in a white limousine. We'd go to different places. His name was Paul. I can't remember his last name.
Sure. He had the show place probably over there in Evansville. That's where I was at.
Yeah, 1980s it was.
Yeah, I had them from year 2000 to 2007, and they were all about. The first one was 50 miles from Evansville, Indiana. It was in Carmi, Illinois, and then Fairfield, 30 miles north. They talked me into building one up there out of a fitness center, so I built one there, and then I built another one in Hillsboro, and then Sparta came through and said, "Hey, we got this old Walmart building that the guy tried to build the theaters, and he went bankrupt. Could you come in and finish it?" So I did, and I had that for several years, and the kiss of death, get divorced, and after 23 years of being married, I got divorced, and you know what that does to businesses. So I had to go back to work.
Well, I really miss going to the movies. It's one of my favorite things to do. And here in the Philippines, especially where I live, there's not a lot of entertainment. And our movie theater's been closed for, a year and a half. And I don't understand why. Why is it the churches are open, the cockfights are going on sometimes, but I can't go to the movies. It's just been closed down. And I don't know when they're ever going to open back up. And there's all these good movies that are supposed to be coming out. It should have been released months and months ago, and I don't know what they're going to do.
James Bond comes out in October. Yeah.
Yeah. What are they going to do with these movies? Just release them on HBO or something? Or are they going to wait till
do like Mulan and put it out there on Disney and pay your $20 and watch it? Yeah. I thank God that I don't own those theaters anymore, because if I had owned with the mortgages I was paying, and they all had to close at one time, but you know the banks aren't going to look at you and say, oh, we don't have any sympathy for you shutting down your business. It would have bankrupted me. Out of them in 2008. And thank goodness, because I couldn't have weathered this, boycott on movies for a year and a half. My goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to love going to the drive-in, and that was like, it was only like Starlight Drive-In in Cincinnati. It was like $4, maybe even less. That was like $2 to get in or something.
Oh,
and of course, I was lucky. My parents had a station wagon.
Yeah. I had a Mustang convertible, but I would still shove 3 guys in the trunk. And,
that was the old trick. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 guys in the trunk and take your own pizzas and go to the drive-in. Yeah. That was great. We had one out there on Army Post Road in Des Moines. I lived all over the country because my dad was in the Army, but quite a few of the years of my high school years, I lived in Iowa, and they were really big on drive-ins there. Loved it.
So as a businessman, you say you want to talk about investing on your channel. What kind of investments do you think are good now, and what are you personally investing in?
Well, what you see out there on YouTube is a whole lot of people trying to tell you which stocks to pick. And I'm not really going to have a channel that talks about which stocks to pick. But I will say that what we'll talk about is, what kind of research do you do own that stock for 5 years or more? Now, that's just like putting money in a mutual fund. So what my investment channel is going to be about is, how do you actually take the stocks that you own and rent them out? It's just like renting a condo. If you own $22,000 worth of Alibaba, it's $225 a share. You got 100 shares. You got $22,000 invested. It's just like real estate, but you don't have to pay a real estate investor. You just pay your broker. Here's, would you have made any money? No. But what I do is I go in and I put calls. I do the options, but I don't do day trading, and I don't do swing trading. I put options on stock I own. And what I'll do is I'll say the stock's at 225. I'll go ahead and sell it to somebody for 235. And if it doesn't hit 235, then I get to keep the premium. And that is a very lucrative business. But anyway, I thought a channel where they could actually watch what I'm doing. They can see the live amounts. I mean, you can see I got an account here, and it'll show up on the screen. It's going to say it's got $400,000 in it. And hey, here's what we're doing this week. We put some puts on Carnival last week. We put some puts on JD.com. We did some calls on Alibaba because we own about 60,000 in Alibaba. How are we going to make an extra $2,000 on this? And I'm going to show them how you do that. And then when we get to the expiration date of the contract, I'll show them how the time value of money evaporates the last couple of days that you have a contract out there, and the other person walks away not getting your stock, and you get to keep the stock and keep the rent. And it's a skill that takes quite a while to learn, but I was training people at Best Buy years ago, and I've got some really good success stories. I got some young people that are 28 years old that have made a lot of money, and they keep in touch with me, and they ask me what to do, what I think about this strategy or that. And so I thought, why not put that out there on YouTube to see if people are interested? And that's part of, doing something like this with you today is, if people are interested, just, let me know, because I'm planning on starting it in August. I'm just curious whether something like this would be interesting to anybody.
I think that's brilliant, Richard. I really like that idea. And as far as I know, there's nobody else talking about that, because for a while, even though only stock I own is Ford Motor Company. I bought them when it was really, really cheap, and I've just kind of held on to that. And I've got
Did you get in at 5?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 15 now.
Yeah, and I got a little bit of crypto. But I got a friend of mine, David, who hopefully he's watching this right now. He's a retired attorney from Berkeley, and that's all he does is stocks. And I'm sure he'll be very interested in watching your channel and maybe even reaching out to you, because that's really interesting what you just said. Yeah,
well, I mean, there are groups out there that you can get in, and you can become a part of their classes in their group. But it usually costs you $5,000 to $10,000 to get in. It's kind of like a country club membership. And I thought, well, the average man doesn't have that kind of money to throw out there to go join a bunch of good old boys club and talk about stocks. You really, want why not just do it as a YouTube channel, and I'll do it while I'm doing my stocks anyway. You know, I'll let them in on what I'm doing, and I don't care if people see how much I have in my accounts.
Mm.
I'm not going to show them the account number so they can scam me and
Yeah. It's freezing up
my
on
US
us again.
account, but see the live green and red tickers changing. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I do think there is something like this out there, but it's there are teaching academies, and they want you to come in there and spend a lot of money to be a part of that. And they're all good. I've researched them. I think they're great. It's just that the normal person can't afford to jump into something like that.
We know there's a lot of guys that have online courses where, like, you know, you do a whole video, you know, series on what you're talking about, and you charge people to watch it, but you make it very cheap. You know, you can make it like, you know, $10. And what do you care? Because you've already videoed
I've
it.
got
you know,
an 80-hour. I've got an 80-hour course with over 85 online courses all lined up to go next month.
Wow.
And at first I used Kajabi to put that together, and it came out pretty good. But I'm trimming it up because I talk too much, and sometimes it takes a little while for me to get my point across. I'm making it shorter, and I'm going to put those out on Udemy and sell them cheap, and just, you know, let them roll.
That's a great idea. Now, is each one self-contained, or if you watch number one, you have to watch number two to find out what to do?
They're all self-contained.
Now, that's much better. That's much better.
One may be about the history of the stock market. Another one might be, you know, how to do a call, a simple call. Another one might be on how to do an iron condor or how to do a butterfly. And another one might just be, hey, we did Alibaba for the last year and a half. Let's see what the heck happened. And then I show them the whole thing, what happened. I had Tesla. I had a ton of Tesla. And I have videos where I'm sitting there sweating whether Tesla's going to go bankrupt or not. And I'm like, well, I'm sticking with them because I think Tesla's a great company and it's going to do something. But yeah, I realize it's $180 and everybody says it's going bankrupt. But I believe in Elon Musk.
Yeah, I do too.
And then 2 years later, I got videos showing what happened. And there were some hard times there.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Turned out okay.
You know, also when you on that series, my advice would be not, you know, for what it's worth, would be don't have like 1, 2, or 3. Have each one a title. Like this is about the butterfly, you know, whatever. So people can just kind of skip around and pick the one that sounds interesting to them.
Right.
But if they sometimes say, oh, there's 80 videos, I don't want to watch 80 videos.
I totally agree.
You know? Yeah.
If I told them that, hey, if you sit down and spend 40 hours watching all these videos, 1 through 82, you're going to know how to trade options. Yeah.
But me with my YouTube channel, it started off as just something to do to keep me occupied. And plus, it was a great way to meet new friends here in the Philippines because I started off interviewing guys that are here. And then what happened was it started making money. And next thing you know, I was surviving off my Social Security. Now, all of a sudden, my YouTube channel, I don't even think about my Social Security anymore because of my YouTube channel.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. And, my biggest concern when I retired was that I was going to get extremely bored. Before Best Buy, I had to back down from being a multi-unit manager because of my heart. So I went into the store and ran a big store. Really enjoyed it. But before that, I had 150 stores, and I was traveling from Florida all the way through Texas. And that lifestyle, you end up having a lot of friends, and every day is a different day, and you really have a lot of fun. And it was, of course, it's a regional manager job. You're making good money. They're paying you to walk around and talk to people and have a good time.
Friends in the Philippines than I ever had in America. And one reason was I was a single guy living in a neighborhood like of families where they didn't want to socialize with some single guy that was gone for months at a time on cruise ships. But it's very easy to make friends over here with guys our age. People will actually come up to you. Hi, I haven't seen you before. What's your name? I'm John. And I've made so many friends just going to the store, going to the market, and being around town. And, one person introduces you to somebody else. And I can't keep up with the social invitations that we have. I'm invited, hey, we're having a party. You want to come over? We're having a wedding. You want to come? We're going to, do whatever. Do you want to come over for a barbecue? And you'll find, I bet within no time, you'll meet a lot of friends.
Oh, I'm sure that's right. Because even when I'm over there in the past, I see somebody in the mall. They might be up on the 3rd level, and they'd be yelling at me from above. Hey, I know I've seen you before. I said, yeah, you're from Georgia, aren't you? And then we run up the stairs and meet at the, at the snack bar and have a Coke and talk about the good old USA. But in Cagayan de Oro, there's not nearly as many expats as there is in Dumaguete. Even in Manila. When I was in Manila, I felt like I was, with 100 different guys my same age. And, they were all playing that same game. I'm not in that game. I'm married. So when I get to Cagayan de Oro, she's got 15 brothers and sisters. 6 of them live in Chicago, and the rest of them are in her hometown. So it's a totally different friendship type of thing, because you got to split a lot of time with your Philippine family. But I have to have people from the U.S. that I meet face to face. I'll have plenty of people to talk to on the phone and do video calls. But, I'm sure I will have no problem making friends. But it will be totally different than knowing thousands of people here. My LinkedIn channel, and I'll give my LinkedIn to other people. They can see my past jobs, and they can see all my contacts. I've got over 700 people on LinkedIn. It's going to be different. And I know that because I've been there enough to know it's going to be a totally different culture, but it's something I need. I need to slow down and learn how to retire. So.
Well, if you have a YouTube channel, you'll meet a lot of people that way that are local viewers. There's going to be some guys where you live that have seen you, and that you'll be walking through the mall. Hey, I saw you on YouTube. Is your name Rich? The next thing you have some new friends that way too. I forgot to ask you a question. You said earlier that you sent your furniture over to the Philippines. And how did you go about doing that, and how much did it cost?
Okay. We started by getting the house up for sale. And so we had a time for that. I contacted several different container outfits. I contacted, doing it through Balacabon boxes. I did a lot of different things. My wife was actually an agent for Balacabon boxes in Texas, and all the Filipino women would bring all their boxes to our big garage. And we'd have this garage full of Balacabon boxes. Furniture. It's going to run me about $8,000 to rent a container, because I may end up with a little bit more than a container, even if we have garage sales. Yeah. So I worked a deal out with a guy in Houston. They're called Global Transport. And that was someone that my wife had worked with for a couple of years. We would collect the boxes. He'd stop by and pick them up. He said he could make me a deal, and we could pack everything up in Balacabon boxes and send it over there. But I have some really large furniture. I have Texas-sized furniture. Yeah. So we broke those down, and he wrapped them up in plastic, and he called that a Balacabon box, which I didn't know you could do.
I didn't either.
So by the time that he shipped, we took it all down to Houston. It was a container and a half. Would have cost me $10,000. It ended up costing me $5,500 by doing it through Balacabon box.
What a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it all showed up undamaged. Now, it showed up 4 boxes at a time in Houston. Total, I got by with about $6,000 instead of, 10 to 12,000. I got a quote from a mover. They took an inventory of my whole house. They told me the least they could do it for is $15,300.
Wow.
I was like, yeah. I may have $15,300 to pull out of my pocket, but I wasn't born yesterday. I will figure out a way to get this cheaper. And it ended up working out really good. My wife worked her buns off packing everything up, so, that was free. But it worked out.
Well, you know what I found here? It's like I've got a furnished apartment. I don't really want to own any more stuff, because I kind of spent a year getting rid of all my stuff that I'd acquired over 15 years in my house in America. But we do need a few things, and I found it's very hard to find quality furniture, at least here in Dumaguete. Like, you want to find a sofa, I looked and looked and looked, and they were just all cheap, bad quality. They weren't comfortable, and there's nothing I really like the style of. So if you've got nice furniture and nice things that you want to keep, I think it's worth the money to ship it over. You have to buy stuff anyway.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
you got
to
factor
run the totals on it, what you paid for it in the U.S. I mean, my gosh, you're sending $50,000 worth of inventory. Why not pay $5,000 to ship it over there?
Yeah, because what's it going to cost you to replace it? What's going to cost you to replace all that stuff?
Yeah,
and then chances are it won't be the same quality. You probably won't be able to find half of it.
Not even by far. I worked for an electronics company that sold leather furniture, so I had all leather. And my
nice.
wife over there now with all this family, they show up, they're just ecstatic. They're like, we've never seen this nice of furniture. Well, yeah, you don't find it in the Philippines. You have to ship it in.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend finding a way to ship your furniture to even if it's an apartment. You know, you can rent out a half a container. You can do it by Balacabon box. And even if they tell you can't ship your recliner, you can. You just find the right shipper. He'll get it there. Might take 3 months, but it'll get there.
So how long did it take for you to get when the last box arrived?
July. So it left in February. The last pieces got there in July. But remember, it was the pandemic.
Right.
And containers were not leaving. The problem was all the containers went to China and they didn't come back. So they didn't have
Right. They didn't have the empty ones.
to ship stuff. And then the ships were, we picked the worst time to ship furniture to the Philippines. But we weren't in a big hurry. You know, we had several places to live and we had furniture in these other places. So, you know, but then we never knew when it was going to get there. And when it all started getting there in July, I said, well, we're not going to make it before the wedding in October. You go, I'll stay, go to the wedding. You go and receive the furniture and all the stuff. And she did.
One final question, Richard. You know, you're obviously a very successful man. You know, you've got enough money to retire anywhere in the world if you wanted to. Why the Philippines? I mean, what is it about, you know, you've got a lovely wife, you've got a great relationship, you two could live anywhere. And what is it about the Philippines that you've decided to spend the rest of your life there?
Well, I would say the number one reason is my wife is from there. And she's a very outgoing person. And she has a great family. They're good. I love them. After 8 years, I'm really well. They're just fantastic people, but they are a good example of the Philippine culture. And on a personal side, when I got divorced, I was dating a lot of American women. It's the same story you hear out there with other guys. The first thing they did is they wanted to know how much money I made. It was a job interview. Every date when you first started was a job interview. And once you told them what you did, like I was the director of strategy for Sears. Oh, well, then you must. It changed to a whole different level. They didn't want to know about me. They wanted to know about, you know, their security and how well they'd be able to, you know, spend that money going down. And then I got turned off on. My marriage was great. I know it ended in a divorce, but my marriage was great. She's a great person. She was the mother of my children. That's behind me. I looked at it and said, can I find better? Can I actually find a woman that, you know, is not going to be concerned about how much bacon you're bringing home every week, but more concerned about her family and how well you and her are getting along and what your next travel place is going to be. And that's what my wife is. And when I went to the Philippines, I dated some young girls. I dated girls that were way too young that I shouldn't have been dating. I even got a K9, a K1 visa. K9, I didn't get a dog, but I got the K1 visa. I had a girl coming over and I canceled it at the last moment. It's been the best success story that I've had my whole life is getting involved with a Filipina and then marrying a Filipina. And the reason I'm going to the Philippines is because of her. But I would not go if I thought that it was a third world country, that everybody's poor and they're all out there begging for money and all you see is poverty. That is not the true image of the Philippines. They're in the neighborhood that we're in. We own 2 different lots. These people are well off. The malls are fantastic. The malls are better than any of the malls here. In Texas, I would put the Uptown Mall in Cagayan de Oro against the Stonebriar Mall in Dallas any day. They're just really nice. And the restaurants are 1/3 the price that you pay anywhere here in the U.S. I can go to the movies for about $4. Well, that's back when we were kids, you know.
Right.
And you've got the senior citizen discounts over 60. You get free movies on Tuesdays on some theaters in Cagayan, and you get free movies on Wednesdays on the other days. So
I never heard that. I got to check into that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's free movies, and it's part of the PRA, the Philippine Retirement Authority. Like I said, I've dealt with this for years, and I think between you and I and other people on these YouTube channels, we can help guys get over there and enjoy it. But I am true testament that I love the United States. I love every state that I've lived in. I lived in Hawaii. I lived in San Diego. I lived in Dallas and Houston. I still love the Philippines. There's nothing wrong with Houston or Dallas. They're great cities. But if you've got a wife there that you really, because she's got to be your negotiator. You don't show up at the market and try to buy something. You need her, until they get comfortable with you. They'll charge you the white man tax. So a good woman that you're going to live with for the rest of your life, and I don't care what age it is, make sure she's a good woman you can get along with, and you will really enjoy the Philippines.
I couldn't
I'll
agree
tell you
with
about it next month when I'm back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Well, Richard, we've gone about an hour here. You had a few little technical glitches, but it was well worth it. Fantastic information that you've shared with us today. I really appreciate it. And when you get your YouTube channel going, let me know, and I'll put a link to it in my channel and promote it for you. And I hope that someday we get to meet in person.
Oh, I'm sure we will. I told my wife that, hey, one of the first trips we're going to make is over to Dumaguete and go around and visit some of these guys that I've been watching for years. I really would like to just say hello. Bye.
It is. Yeah. It is. Certainly is. Yeah. Well, Richard, thanks a lot for your time, my friend. I really appreciate it, and I hope we get to talk soon. When we end this broadcast, you and I will still be connected for a few minutes, so don't go away. Everybody that's watching, thank you so much for watching. Those of you that have subscribed, I appreciate it. If you like the video, please share it with your friends. And I've got a lot of interesting guests coming up over the next month. So thanks again. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.